be working Today we're going to be working on finding the surface area of solids. Now we're going to work on three basic solids: rectangular prisms, triangular prisms, and cylinders. So I want you to write down an example of each one, please. This is why yesterday it was real important that you could identify the faces, because to find the surface area, you're finding the area of all the faces. So in a rectangular prism or solid, how many faces did you all decide there were? 6. Okay, we have 6 faces. We're going to find the area of each face. Now in some cases the faces are exactly the same, so we don't have to repeat it twice, we just double that amount. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to sketch a cube or a rectangular prism, make its dimensions 6 centimeters by 2 centimeters by 3 centimeters. Now in order to find the surface area, you need to kind of get yourself organized. You need to start with one of the faces, and I'm going to start with the front. Okay, to label the front, I'm just going to put it's a rectangle. This is the front. My dimensions of the front are what? 6 by 2. So I'm going to put 6 times 2, which is 12. Now, is there another face that's exactly like that? Yes, the back. The back. So we can also put the back, which is the shape of a rectangle, is 6 times 2, or 12. Okay, now let's go to the right side. Let's go to the sides. Side right. What's the shape? A rectangle. And I write that down because it kind of then makes me think of how do I find the area of a rectangle. The dimensions are 3 by 6. So I go 3 times 6, which is 18. Do I have another side like that? Okay, the side left. Let me call it side left. Again, it's a rectangle, and it's 3 by 6 or 18. And you don't have to write the 3 by 6 around if you want to just put down 18 again. And then now we're ready for the top and the bottom. So we have the top, which is a rectangle, and the dimensions are, and I usually trace it, a 2 by 3, which is 6, and then the bottom would be the same, a 2 by 3, which is 6 as well. Okay, now to find my surface area, what do I do with all those? Add them up. Okay, I'm going to put a 24 plus 36 plus 12, 72, and my label will be squared centimeters. Okay, our next figure is a triangular solid or prism. How many faces do I have here? 5. Remember, there's one that you can't see, and that's kind of like the back side. Let's start then with the bases. The bases are triangles. Are they exactly the same? Okay, now here's where you got to be careful, because in order to find the area of a triangle, I take its base times its height divided by 2. But which side is the base? This is 4, this is 5, and that's 6. Which 2 do I use? The 2 that make a right angle. That's called the base and the altitude. Sometimes this is called the altitude. But the base and the height or the altitude always make a right angle. Always. So I'm going to take 4 times 5, and then what? Divided by 2. And I get 10. Now, is that the top or also the bottom? So I have the bottom as well. Okay, the bottom I can't see. I mean, you might put it down here because I have 4 as the base, 5 as the height. To find the area of a triangle, I take the base times height divided by 2. Okay, then I have 3 sides, and all 3 of them are going to be different, possibly rectangles. Now, there might be 2 that are the same, but I just do them all separately. Okay, let's start with the front. What are the dimensions of the front? It's a 4 by 8, which is 32. Okay, let's go to the right side. 5 by 8, which is 40. And then the one in the back is a 6 by 8, which is 48. Okay, now we're going to take all of these and add them up. So I'm going to take 32, 40, 48, and let's go ahead and put a 20 down there. And I get, is it 14? 140? 140 square centimeters. So to find the surface area of a triangular prism, you're just breaking it down into all the faces and finding the area of each one. Any questions on that one? Okay, and the last shape that we're going to find the surface area for is a cylinder. Now, a cylinder is kind of a little different. We know some of the shapes. Okay, there are 3 faces. What are the shapes, though, for them? How many circles do I have? Top and bottom are circles, and then the rectangle. And the rectangle is the one that always gets everybody in trouble. Okay, so let's start with the circles. How do I find the area of that circle? Radius squared times pi, which in this case the radius is 5 squared times 3.14. Okay, punch that in your calculator. Let's see what you get. 78 and a half. Okay, how many of those do I have? I have 2 of them. So I'm going to write 78 and a half. Okay, then the third part is this rectangle. Now, the rectangle actually goes around this circle. So what is that? That's the circumference. This is the circumference times the height of your cylinder. So whatever your circumference is, times the height. Okay, circumference, which is diameter, times pi, times the height. And you might write that down, because that's what you're going to do to find the area of this rectangular part. Now let's plug the numbers in. The diameter is how much? 10 times 3.14 times your height, which is 12. And what do you come up with? 376 and, okay, is that right? Now, to find the surface area, have I found the area of all 3 faces now? Okay, I've got to add them all up now, and give me a total, please. 533 and 8/10 centimeters squared, or squared centimeters. Okay, review. I found the area of both my top and bottom, which were the shape of circles, radius squared times pi. But the rectangle part, I have to take the circumference times the height, which is diameter times pi times your height. Any questions on surface area? Shh, back there. Okay, volume. Volume is the area of the base times the height. Normally you see it written like this with a capital B, and the capital B represents the area of the base. So like yesterday we were finding kind of what is the shape of the base. That's what you call it. Well, the shape of this base is a rectangle. So you're going to find the area of a rectangle and then take that times the height of your solid. All right, so let's do that. The area of the base would be a 4 by 8, and I'm going to take that times your height, which is 5. So now I have 32 times 5, which is 260. All right, let's punch in our calculators. You've got 32 times 5. 4 times 8 is 32 times 5. 160, and your label will be centimeters Cube, because we're looking at volume, it's cubic units. Okay, the next one will be the volume of a triangular prism. The area of the base times the height. This time the base is in the shape of a triangle. So I'm finding the area of your triangle times your height. To find the area of the triangle, we need to take the base times your height of the triangle. Remember, base of the triangle, which would be 4 times 5 divided by 2, all times 8. So you have 10 times 8, which is 80. And this would be cubic centimeters. In most cases, I think finding volume is a little quicker because you don't have as many parts to find. It's only just really one-step problem. And finding the volume of the last shape, or solid I should call it, is a cylinder. Again, we find the area of the base times the height. That's what volume is. But the base in this case is a circle. So you find the area of a circle times your height. We find the area of a circle, which, by the way, we already did this in I think, a previous problem. You're going to have 5 squared times 3 14/100 times your height of 12. And you get 78.5 times 12 is 942. Even? And that would be cubic centimeters. Okay, so again, to find the volume, you find the area of the base times the height. It just depends on what your shape is as to how you find the area of the base part of it. Are there any questions? Okay, today we've worked on finding the surface area and volume of all solid shapes that we're going to be looking at.